So the
Oh,
Penguin finale,
yeah.
Penguin finale dropped.
Yeah, it did.
10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 TV, genuinely 10 out
Unbelievable.
of 10.
Yeah.
Oh, there was absolutely incredible TV.
Yeah.
Just
It-
I've got to
amazing.
watch this then.
If you are not watching this, I do not know what
I've-
you're doing with your life.
Yeah. This is
Very
one of
good.
those. This is one of those HBO shows. I'm like, this is worth the price of HBO. Back when you used to have to pay for it separate as a cable channel. I mean, this
Yeah.
We're
is
in the UK. You'll get it on Now TV. I signed up to Now TV so I could watch this. But
man.
we've had a really good year for TV. Actually, there's been 10 out of 10 shows, which is so rare for me to say. I don't think I've ever given. I've never given anything a 10 out of 10 rating until this year, and we had Shogun, which was just
that was good too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then Penguin comes out, and out of nowhere, the twists and the turns,
The
and
writing,
it was just
the writing.
amazing, absolutely amazing. Yeah, what did you think, Culture?
Unbelievable.
From the episode, from the series.
Well,
overall,
I not to blow the spoiler early. I'll try not to. I'll just say the thing that we talked about being a devastating thing that was likely to happen happened in an even more devastating way than you could believe. That particular set of moments and everything that led up to it, the writing's brilliant, the acting was fantastic. Everybody was giving the performance of their life. If there is not a season 2 of this, I will be severely disappointed. But if there isn't a season 2 of it, I will have had no regrets. The character study in here is phenomenal.
they've already, just real quick, they have said that they are. HBO is there's an urgency to whether they want to make a season 2 or not. So they are leaving it down to the filmmakers, but they're like, we would love you to make a season 2. Please make a season 2. But they said we don't want to do it unless we can tell something worthwhile telling, which is the right approach to have. So good. That's a reason to doubt them based on how good this season was.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just feel like they'd be missing out on an opportunity to really, ring that bell in a unique way, which HBO hasn't done in a long time. I mean, I was trying to think of the last time there was a breakout HBO thing, and again, you pointed out the only other thing that was like comparable this year was Shogun. That was Hulu, which was actually FX.
Yeah,
so,
FX Hulu. I've just got to say real quick, Bowser Jr., that bug-eyed woman, right? Get that woman's name out your mouth, all right? That is Kristen Milioti. She's a hottie, all right?
She is one of the best performances in this show. She gives one of the best performances in the show. She killed this role. Killed it.
Yeah, no, genuinely, she was amazing. I'd never bothered to know who she was or anything like that before this.
No, I me neither.
She's a standout actor because there's so many layers to her performance. It's not just a simple maniacal villain or damaged goods or like no. There's so many layers and you know what they did really well. So again, we'll keep this review as non-spoilers as possible because I do want you to watch it, but I think you'd really like it, mate. But they actually wrote a woman. They actually wrote a character arc for this woman. They wrote her. They had written her going through a series of very complex events, and becoming a fully fleshed out character at different stages as well of development as she went through this journey. And by the end, you were just like, wow, okay. Yeah, wow. Like it was, it was a tragic, but harrowing, but also hopeful at the end, almost, again, without any kind of spoilers. Bloody just all over the place, but in the best possible way, written to perfection.
Yeah, I don't know what else to add. I mean,
the Penguin. I can't wait to see it. It's not a spoiler that because he's confirmed to be in Batman Part 2 anyway.
Wow.
I am so just how they.
Who else are you going to get to play that character now?
He's fucking mental, isn't he? Like he's really mental.
Yeah. I would go as far to say this is not only the best show of the year, 10 out of 10. This is one of the best shows I've ever seen. The writing, the acting, the directing, the cinematography, the story arcs. I mean, top notch. House of Dragons season 2 this year was okay, but it was just slow and stuff. I liked it, but man, this blows that out of the water for me personally. And I know a lot of people out there didn't really care for the Batman. Reeves.
You don't have to like the Batman to like this. I'll say that much. Absolutely, unequivocally. You don't have to have liked.
Yeah, because you know who hated the Batman? This guy.
Yeah, culture.
Yeah, and I keep telling people, look, if you hated that movie, it doesn't matter. Just watch this. I don't see how anybody could, other than IGN, could not like this.
7 out of 10. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, well, they gave it a 5, but then once it finished, they bumped it up to a 7 because people were giving them so much crap. They bumped it up to a 7. But yeah, that the way it ended, that finale, which I'm not gonna say for spoilers, and I know Bo's not seen it yet, but good God, man, talk about making the Penguin the villain again. You know, because it's a roller coaster. You're rooting for him, then you're like, God, he's a piece of shit. Then you're rooting for him again, and then at the end, you're like, oh, this dude needs to die. Like, he is a freaking monster. Like, talk about God, man. It's so good. So good.
It's high praise indeed from you chaps. So I will make an effort to watch it because it's rare people talk so enthusiastically about TV these days.
Yeah,
it's the sign of really good writing where you know the person is a villain and you know they're doing evil things.
Yeah,
and yet the writing has been constructed in such a way that you have momentary lapses of judgment because you're bought into the character. So even though you know he's evil and you know he's doing evil things, when he gets down on his luck and things happen to him, you begin to root for him or you feel bad for him. But then you're reminded, like a sledgehammer to the face, just how evil this person truly actually is again. And there's these key moments during this whole series where you're like, holy fuck, this guy is like actually psychotic evil. Like he is a monster. Like he's an actual monster. And it's there's little bits all the way through the season, but you still root for him at key points. And that's really good writing. Like, because you're fully bought into this character, even though he's genuinely a monster. So yeah, it's great. Like I loved every single Monday because it was on in the UK on a Monday. The last 8 weeks or whatever it was, every single Monday has been really, really something I looked forward to. So
yeah,
strong recommendation, Bo, and anyone else in the chat that hasn't watched it, definitely watch it.
I told Coach about it because he wasn't watching it, and finally I got him to watch it. By the time we got to after episode 6 had dropped, I was like, dude, you've got to watch this show, man. He watched. I was like, just watch the first episode. If you're not interested at the first episode, you don't have to keep watching. Just watch the first episode. It's a little less than an hour long. After the first episode, he is hooked. He binge watched the whole thing. Absolutely loved it. He was like, dude, you're 100% right. This show's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It just goes to show, like, we as a people, as a civilization, as a species, are still capable of making great art. You know, they do come along. There was that Chernobyl by HBO not too many years ago. It was also superb. You know, people wax lyrical about Shogun. There's a thing on BBC at the moment, Wolf Hall. Excellent. So it's like, it can be done. It can be done if you put professional grown-ups in charge of a project. You know, we haven't lost the ability as a civilization. There is hope, right? There is hope. We're still storytellers.
Yeah, we can still create art. I mean, look at this, Bo. Do you know who this is? If you didn't know,
you did tell me. It doesn't really look anything like him, does it?
Colin Farrell.
Yeah, right. Yeah, doesn't look like him, does it?
It's Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound nothing like him. Doesn't look nothing like him.
I was going to say, tell me he doesn't do it in an Irish accent.
No.
Nope.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
No, literally, you wouldn't know it was him. You honestly wouldn't know it's him at all.
I didn't even know it was him until after I'd already seen the Batman movie. Like I heard somebody else talk about it. I was like, what? That was Colin Farrell? Did he like get old and put on a bunch of weight? Like that doesn't look that dude looks terrible. And then I started looking, I was like, oh, it's all prosthetics and all that makeup and everything.
Yeah. Genuinely amazing. Really, really, really good. So yeah, strong recommendation there.
Okay.
I can't think of a better performance by him either that I've ever seen.
No, that has been his best performance.
Yeah,
like he's good. He's good in like In Bruges and things like that. But you know, there's nothing where the role has overtaken him as an actor, and you've gone. You know, there's been no performance where you've looked at the character and not seen Colin Farrell before. This is the sign of a great performance. Where obviously the prosthetics help a lot. But it's not just that; it's everything else. The mannerisms, you know, the characterization, the voice, all of those things. And you're looking at this character, and you're like, "Oh yeah, it's the Penguin." There's no ounce of you where you look at this and you go, "Oh, that's Colin Farrell." There's nothing reminiscent of Colin Farrell in that at all. He fully embodies the Penguin.
Yep.
Right down to like weird little things. Like he has a tick. You'll notice if you watch, the Penguin, and also the Batman. He has a tick where he licks his lip. So he periodically will lick his lip at certain points in time when he's feeling really, really stressed or really, really excited. And so he's got these like, Colin Farrell's like nailed down these mannerisms for this character. So he's just like fully immersed in it. It's great performance from him.
All right, I'll definitely give it a go. I'm currently watching an old, like a 2-year-old series. Once I finish that, I'll go on to this.
Yeah, definitely do. I'd be well interested.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed.
Yeah. The Trying Scotsman says, how good and horrible was this season? Acting was top notch. Farrell was great, and the Penguin was a rotten person. Well, I think we covered all of that, mate, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Hosea says he's up there with Heath Joker as the best DC villain. Yes,
I would agree with that.
Yeah, 100%. Like there are some performances that you see and you're like, yeah, that's iconic. That's the quintessential version now, because it becomes so, you know, it just does become so iconic. I mean, Heath Ledger is the quintessential Joker, right? Like that's an iconic iteration. And I think that this version of the Penguin will go down like that as well.